Hey guys, your humble host. I know it's been a little while since I've made a video. I know I just put out some sort of audio reading for a story I've been working on. Anyway, I wanted to do a rant type discussion type thing. It's made kind of a odd video and there might be some swearing, so just to let people know. It's just one of these things that I'm really frustrated about and something that I'm dealing with at the moment. For those of you who don't know about me, I'm high functioning autistic, and what that pretty much means is, I don't catch all the social cues, when talking with people. I work things a bit differently. I take information a little bit differently. Behaviors or the way of saying things, the way that I say them may be normal to me, may be foreign or offensive to someone else. That's the best way I can put that. Or vice versa. I got diagnosed with it indirectly a few years back. And what I mean by indirectly is I went in to a mental institution, and the lady was legit scared that I would get screwed out of insurance, getting any type of medical insurance if that was on my medical profile, and so she just put afraid of change, which is something completely different, or rather is a part of that and can be, but anyway, for those of you who either are autistic yourself or know someone, it is really, really, really frustrating to communicate with other people at times. Either because just your language is different and a lot of people don't get what you're saying, or B, you don't get what they're saying, or C, it's just difficult. And I know for me, growing up, I wasn't diagnosed back then. It caused a lot of arguments and miscommunications between my family and I, and it has bled through to my jobs, which has got to be the most frustrating thing on the planet, because no matter how hard I try, no matter what I say, no matter how I present myself, which for the most part is in a professional manner, it always seems to rear its ugly head. Now, in some jobs, I have been fortunate enough to have people to where they work with me. Now, I'm not stupid. Having autism, especially high functioning, does not make you stupid. It does not make you dumb, and I know it's used as a joke. I've used it as a joke, Spurg City, and things like that, but it doesn't make you stupid. But it can make you feel like you're stupid because you have to explain to people that, hey, you have to word this a specific way, or you have to explain things a certain way, and it can make you really feel dumb. I know for me that it can be really, really embarrassing for me to sit down and freaking talk to people about it. I've had to sit down every one of my freaking managers that I've had for the past 2 to 3 years that, hey, you know what, the reason why I communicate this way is because I have autism, high functioning, it came from here. Just to let you know, no, I don't take medicine for it, and there are 2 types of autism, or it can be a chemical thing, which is mostly, from what I've read and understand too, the chemical can cause low functioning autism, which people with that have a harder time of communicating. They express themselves very different and have a hard time just being in society, holding a job all together. versus what I have, which is social, which can contribute to high functioning, can cause high functioning, and the social can come from trauma, neglect, abuse. Like, I was a victim of child abuse, so that's where my autism comes from, if that makes sense. Anyway, like I said, I've had to sit down all my managers and explain to them that they have to either work specific things a certain way, or when I am talking with them, because I've been accused like a lot of arguing with people. Just, oh no, you're being argumentative. No, I'm not. I'm trying to give you all the freaking details because you're not getting it. You're not understanding what I'm saying to you. Like a perfect example, at one job, I had one manager that I had to kind of teach. He wanted me to say yes to no matter what he said, which in a job isn't realistic. I mean, it's just not. Either you're dealing with a customer when you get asked something, or you have a product, or there's something else going on that you are involved with, and you just can't look at your manager and go, yes. It's just like, no, I'm with a customer, I'm doing this happened. So I had to sit down with them and go, you know what, this is not realistic. What you were asking of me is not realistic. And then I'm going to explain, and he finally got it. I had to sit down and tell him, like, no, I can't just say yes to you, because either I get asked to do something when I'm with a customer, helping with a customer, and I can't just drop what I'm doing with that customer and do what you need me to. It's going to piss off the customer. It's probably not going to have them come back, and so on and so forth. And with me, when it comes to having conversation with people, and when I see that people aren't, like, getting it, because either they repeat themselves, the exact same thing, thinking that I'm going to get it then. I don't know how many freaking times I've had that, either with family members, or people I've worked with, or just in general. It's like, okay, saying the exact same words, the exact same phrase, it's not going to make it click in my head any more than it did the first time. So, there is that, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know how many freaking arguments I've had, and it's gotten to the point to where, over the past couple years, I've had to tell people, hey, if I say something that offends you, I need you to tell me right then and there, because so I can change the behavior, evaluate the behavior, and see if I can express what I'm really trying to tell you in a different way, to where you don't get offended. Regardless, there are people who can be offended no matter what, but my main point is I've had so many people, even now, at work, it's fucking driving me crazy, at work, where I have tried to get people, hey, if you have an issue, tell me. If you see something that doesn't ring right with you, that I'm doing, either if it's with a customer, another coworker, etc., you need to come tell me. I can't fucking get anybody to fucking do it, and it's pissing me off, and it's causing issues for me, because it's like, okay, with me, this is just how I am. Like I said, I'm not stupid. If you have autism, it does not make you stupid, but this is how it is, and I'm sure this is how it is for a lot of high-functioning autistic people, is if we don't get told that our behavior is not bothering anybody, and I'm not talking about cussing, no, I just, the way that we voice things, the way that we express some things, maybe our tone, maybe our phrasing, if we don't get told, hey, that offended me, we're gonna think it's okay to keep doing it. Autistic people don't always pick up social cues. There's social cues I don't pick up. I don't pick up on some body language, tone, and it just, it's just my brain. Autistic people's brains are wired differently. My brain is wired differently, so I'm not going to pick up on everything. I am a very blunt person. I will talk about anything and everything if the person has not expressed that they don't want to talk about those things. Like, I'll give you an example. I've been following the presidency for a little while, so I've been talking about that a lot at work because it's ticking down to the wire with the elections. So I've been talking about that with people, and I haven't had one person tell me, hey, I don't want to talk about that or get offended the way that I voice stuff. As people don't know from my channel already, I'm pro-Trump, and so I have very, very strong feelings about Hillary. So, and I have voiced these, and I haven't heard anybody complain about it. Usually I can get a really good conversation. So, like, I got told tonight, hey, well, people get into a conversation with you about religion and politics, and then it takes a bad turn, what they consider to be a bad turn, and then they don't talk to you anymore because they don't want to get in another predicament. When in the original conversation, they didn't voice that I offended them, or they got angry, or whatever. So, I'm hoping this makes sense. I'm hoping I'm explaining this right, because that's another issue too with autistic people, especially me. There are certain ways that I explain things to where it leaves people scratching their heads, and so, but yeah, like I said, it's now happening at my work, and I can't get people to come talk to me when they do have an issue or when they see something. Like, I had another example, and this was back in the summertime. Same job. I work as a cashier, by the way. I had a customer come up, and her son was mental handicapped. And so she was checking her, putting her stuff on the counter, checking it out, and he started to get angry. The way that this kid expressed his anger was he would get loud. He started to stomp his feet. He would just make a lot of noise. He was uncomfortable. So she told one of her other kids, hey, go take him outside. He's getting fussy. And this kid was about like maybe 15 or so, the mental one. He was like really tall and whatnot. So they took him outside, and she started to apologize to me. Hey, I'm sorry, he's loud. I'm like, hey, you're fine. And then she started to tell me what happened with him, and I asked what was wrong with him, and so we had a conversation from there. Well, I had two people pick up part of that conversation, which was my question, hey, what's wrong with him, and take off and run with it, and not mention anything to me or ask me why I had said that, what the conversation was about. They just ran with it, and it was brought up again tonight, just like, that's a perfect example of someone not coming to me when they think they see something and discussing it with me. And it's been a problem I've had for freaking years, and honestly, I don't know if other autistic people feel this way. I mean, I really don't. But it kind of makes you feel like you're alone, because you're like, I don't know how to describe, you're in a room. For me, I'm like in a room, and there's a window, and I'm trying to communicate through said window, but it's coming across wrong, and because I don't know why this is a foreign concept to people. It's like, if something offends you, and I did it, and I don't see it as offensive, and you don't tell me. Now, I'm not talking about like different beliefs, ideas, and things like that, because there's a specific way to word things, there's a specific way to express things, and there are going to be those people that no matter what you say, no matter how you express things, they're just going to get offended because they're oversensitive. So that I understand, but that isn't everybody. But I don't know why it's so hard, and it's such a struggle too, because, I'll be honest, I'm really alone. I'm married, yes, and I have my husband, thank God for him. But I'm pretty much a loner, and at first it wasn't by choice. I mean, it really wasn't. I know when I was younger, I was a loner for quite a few years, and there was issues that was going on with other people, like a group of girls I tried to hang out with, and something happened between them, and they all split, and so people weren't getting me, my family wasn't getting me, so I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm tired of trying to reach out to people, just fuck it. And I'm at that point again where it's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm done trying to reach out. And it's not like I really made an effort anyway, because every time I do, especially with my gender, it's kind of like a slap in the face or reminder going, no. So it's like, okay, that's just to keep to myself then. And I don't know how other people with autism feel. I don't know how you guys operate, what your guys' situations are outside of the web. But I mean, I don't get it. And I've never, I never been counseled for my autism. Where I'm at, the resources around here kind of suck, and that either I have to go an hour or two out of town for like anything decent, which I don't always have time or the gas money to do so. It's just like, you know what, just, no. There is, where I live, it's too small to have a bus route, and the only other way to get around, is by taxi. So, yeah. But, I read up on autism a little bit, and the effects with, especially with adults, and how you could be seen as an asshole, your beliefs black and white, which a lot of mine are. The way I see things is black and white, talking Old English, which I used to do a bit more of when I was younger. Like, my dad would get thrown off by certain words. I would use, like, I one time used the word puckering, sour. It's an old word for sour. And he just kind of looked at me, just goes, nobody uses that word anymore. I used to read a lot, so I'd pick up a lot of interesting words from books, to where if I didn't know what the word meant, I'd write it down, look at the definition, and then it became part of my vocabulary, if I remembered it. But it's, like I said, see this asshole, black and white, Old English. You can come across very socially awkward. You don't pick up a lot of the body language. The way that people express things to you can come off as weird to you. There's a long list, and there's symptoms of it in childhood, preteen, teen, to young adult, to older adult, and I fit the bill, and I really didn't have a lot of friends growing up, like, at all. So, and I did come across socially awkward, where people thought I was mental, especially in grade school. And it really sucked, and not even my siblings got me. So, the way that I would learn when I was younger, like, I would examine things, and so that came across weird, and I don't know if this is making any sense to people, but, it's so freaking hard. I know that there's websites and things up there, and there isn't one black and white version, or black and white definition of autism that, like, fits everybody, because there are different levels of it. And I know that one of the other, I don't want to say side effects, but the other symptoms, or what do you call it, characteristics, there you go, characteristics of autism, is they are really socially awkward, but they're really smart. They can be artistic, and this is like of a high functioning. The low functioning, I don't know so much, because I'm not that, but I do know of low functioning that they express themselves very strangely, or they don't think certain behaviors are inappropriate. They can express themselves inappropriate sexually and whatnot. But going back to high function, you're artistic, you're socially awkward, you're very, very intelligent, math, science, things like that. And I'm more artistic. And I was pretty good at math and science when put into the right environment. I never had to go through the special ed classes. Like I said, of high functioning, so that was never a thing, but I came across very strange people, so it's just, people keep asking me if I take medicine for it. It's just like, no, I don't need medicine. Quit asking me. And I'm not knocking people who do take medicine for it, because for some people it is a chemical thing, where either they don't make enough of a certain chemical, or the chemicals that mix different in the brain. I don't know the specifications and details for those who do take medication for their autism. I've never had to take medication, ever. How long? We're at 19 minutes. Okay. But it's really frustrating, because like I said earlier, it makes you feel alone. And it's hard to be around other people. Like, for me, it's really hard for me to be around other people now because I get insecure, I get nervous, I get anxious because, like, well, did I just offend them? Did I say something? And I'm constantly having to ask, because I've had people act with me like everything is okay, and then the next day or the next time I see them, it's like they express that they've had issues with me for a while when I've never heard one mention of them, one talk with them about things. So it's just like, for me, I'm very wary of people now, and it just, that was my cat, sorry. It's gotten to the point to where now it's just like, I really don't care for relationship with people. I have a very, very tight circle. My husband, one and two friends of mine that I still talk to, and then my dad, of course. But otherwise than that, it's just like, no. I mean, I can talk with people at my work, but beyond that, it doesn't go any further. I don't want it to go any further, because it's just like, you know what, I just, no. I'm just at that point, I don't know how other people with autism, I don't know how you guys feel. And like I said, I know it's used to joke a lot of the time on the internet, spurging out, or having tisms, and things like that. I'm not knocking the joke. I use the jokes too, so, but I just, it's really frustrating, because like I said, no matter how I express myself, no matter what I do, it just, I think for a while, hey, I got this under control, I got this hidden, I'm acting normal, people are reacting normal to me, and then it rears its fucking ugly head at me, and it's just, I'm like, nope, psych! So, it's just, I don't know. I know not everybody can be, I'm not asking for everybody to be compliant, or to treat me differently, because I sure as fuck don't want that. No. I don't see why it's so goddamn hard for people just to say when they have an issue with what I do, or... Now, I will say that I have gotten into conversations with people to where I just don't give a shit. I have tried to reason with either person or people, and now I don't care. Perfect example of this is with that commentary community, which is nicknamed Spurg City. A lot of them do have autism, like I do. If anyone who followed those videos, followed the links, and saw the comments, as you can see, I didn't give a shit. I just, gasoline, match, done, bye-bye. There are points in my life where I have gotten mean on purpose just to get people to go the fuck away or to leave me alone, either about certain things or just in general. So, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then sometimes it works a little too well. So, like I said, what happened with the community started out as reasonable, and then me just, you know what, I no longer give a shit. Done, bye. Just... gasoline fire, burn bridge, done. So that's an example of that. And I have done that too, and it's just, I mean, what you do when you try to talk with people, whether it be text or voicing, and they don't get it. They don't get it, you don't get them, and they're not willing to have a conversation with you about what the issue is, what their issue is with you, in this case, like, people with me, and it's just like, well, what else do you do? Because right now, especially at work, because people are not willing to come to me, because people are not willing to have a conversation, or when they do, they feel they need to have an attitude and try to throw their weight around with me, and it's just like, no. Other people are starting to get fucking stressed out because all these other people want to do instead of talking to me like an adult and trying to find like a middle ground, they just want to bitch and moan. That's all they want to do. They don't want to change anything that they're doing. They just want to bitch and moan and act like everything is on me. And you know what? I'm getting real tired of it. I'm trying to get out of my freaking department. I want out of my department. I work mostly with women, and a lot of them are younger than I am. There's maybe 1, 2, maybe 4 of them that are older than me by a few years, or maybe even 10 to 15, but there's a lot of young ones that are going through college and that just don't, like, one of my supervisors is 18 years old. I'm gonna be 25 next year. I have like we're 7 years apart, and this 8-year-old little kid is just, and she's pregnant right now too, so that doesn't freaking help. And, I've had conversations with specific people there where it's like leadership does have to do with age, has to do with experience, and I've been told not to bring age into the conversation. And it's just like, it does matter. When you have a very young person in charge leading, and their lack of experience shows, and their lack of just discipline shows. I'm not saying I'm the most experienced or disciplined person. No, that's not what I'm saying. But with the 7-year that I have on this kid, this young pregnant adult, there's just certain things that you don't do, and she doesn't even enforce all the rules, and it's just, she's friends with a particular people, and it kind of makes me mad because it makes trying to converse with them a little bit harder, and there's treatment preference, and so it's just so like, well, what am I doing wrong now? So my autism does not help with this, like, at all. It makes it 10 times worse, and because I've been told that I come across really strong, that I intimidate people in conversations. I've even heard this from people really close to me, and so it makes it really difficult, because if I don't know how I'm wording things or how I'm expressing things to where they're offending people, then I can't freaking change. I can't work on it, because I'm going to think everything's okay. That may sound stupid or silly to people, but that's just the way it is with me. If you don't express to me that there's a problem, I'm going to think everything is alright. If you try to bring up something with me that I did 6 months ago, and I don't have any record of it or collection of it, memory-wise or physical-wise, I'm gonna look at you like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't even remember that. So, anyway, this has gone off for, holy crap, nearly half an hour. I'm gonna cut it off here. Hopefully what I said makes sense. I mean, I can go on for another freaking hour or so, just how much my autism has played havoc, and me trying to adapt. And I'll say one more thing, and then I'll cut it off here, is there are people who are autistic who have had better resources, who have been caught, or not caught, but the symptoms have been caught like earlier in their life, and they've been able to have better resources to change and adapt, and so they're better fitted for society and things like that. I've never really had those resources. I've been through counseling, but it was never for the autism, and I wasn't diagnosed when I was younger, and my family had no fucking clue what was going on. So, I've had to, like, adapt and change and kind of just, kind of keep to myself. I mean, I'm not saying my life and my family was, like, all bad. No, that's not what I'm saying at all, but it's been hard, because a lot of the times I have felt alone, and I feel alone now. I'm not looking for sympathy, but I just wanted to vent. Because I know that there's a lot of autistic people on YouTube, and each person's experience is different. Their autism is expressed a little bit differently from the next. So, but I just wanted to vent a little bit on here, and like I said, hopefully what I said, at least some of what I said, makes sense. If not, oh well. Nothing I can really do about that. But anyway, I'm gonna call it here, and I will be releasing soon another audio reading of A Darkened Heart. If you have not read it, or excuse me, if you have not listened to the audio, go to my channel. It's ADH Prologue, Section 1. So yeah, check that out. Follow the links in the description if you want. If not, it's up to you. But anyway, you guys have a good night. I will talk to you guys later.